What's up, Lucky Gamers? It's Lucky Lux, and today we're going to be talking about the Kaiten Field Warfare Raid. So if you missed the live stream where we pretty much created this tier list, I have this video here for you giving a quick breakdown of every character and why we place them. If you guys do want to be a part of these live streams, I do post ahead of time of when I'm doing these type of raids. I have them scheduled. They're typically going to be on a Monday after the roadmap comes out. But just, you know, have the bell notifications on, that way you guys know when I do the live stream. Subscribe to the channel, or you can join the Discord, because I try to schedule these out that way everybody could be here, because it was a really interesting discussion, and you get to see a lot of other people's like opinions, their thoughts, and everything like that, and you just be part of like a whole, like, you know, just community like discussion that we have. But if you guys like this video, go ahead and hit the like button and comment down below what you guys think about this tier list, if you have anything to say, and subscribe to the channel. That way you guys can get content like this and more, and hit the bell notification, that way you guys know I go live. But anyways, let's go ahead and get into it. Alright guys, so before I get into this tier list, I'm going to explain a couple of things. So the way we have it broken up is based off of just global. We're not putting insane into it, because if we were to have insane, honestly, one, a lot of players are probably not even going to do insane, and two, it changes the way you use a lot of units. So I feel like insane is a little bit hard to even tier, so we're just keeping this from normal to extreme for new players and players who've been playing, veteran players, and then we've made this tier list just only based off of Kaiten Field, not overall. That's why some characters are a little bit lower than if they were in a different mood, then they would be a little bit higher or lower on the list. So I just kind of wanted to go over that. But so first, we have this bottom tier. This is if you have no one else. These are units that pretty much, as it says, if you have nobody else, like, they're usable, right? They have some small, you know, usage that you could put them in the list. So first off that we have is going to be Irie. Irie's attack speed and movement speed buff, it does seem nice, but there's just better options, right? In a way, you could say this is protecting your team. I know in Insane, a lot of people like to push her a little bit up, but this is just extreme and down below. You would never really use her. Honestly, it would hurt your damage. Using her, I'm pretty sure somebody might have a 5-star Irie. They might have her maxed out and everything like that, and she might do something different. But for right now, currently, and how we have the game, she's just not cutting it. Same thing with Hare. Like, her stuns, it's nice. It's cool to really think about. But that's pretty much all she does. And the extra evasion buff on her sub-skill is also not something that's just super amazing. So that's why I put her down here. Suzumi, a 1-star character that honestly I'm pretty sure no one has really built up, where she does have AoE. I believe that her damage modifiers are just a little low for her to be like an amazing 1-star, whereas you could use 2 and 3 stars and probably get the job done. Now, she is usable, right? But it's just like, also, like, a lot of characters that are down here are because of moods as well. So, but like, yeah, Suzumi is just not going to be used like that. There's just other AoE characters that you would get, honestly. Carino, the accuracy, debuff, and everything that she applies to the enemies, it's nice in theory, but it's not going to, like, keep your team invincible. It's not really going to do anything. Yes, she's explosive damage, but I mean, it's not like she's going to just carry your team. So I know there's probably somebody out here who really wants her to work, but just right now, it's just not going to work out. Especially with this raid. I wish her the best in this game, but I think she's gonna pretty much stay at the bottom in most content. Izumi, I want to love Izumi, but she's just not quite that girl. I know she's supposed to be an auto attacker. I know in other situations like the priest, we put her a lot higher, but that was us really being generous, and a lot of people did not agree with how high we put her. But for this especially, you need a little bit more AoE, and then on the single target fight, you need a little bit more burst. Her EX skill also doesn't really do damage to break the shield. It just buffs her attack speed at level 3. So that's one of the reasons why she's down here, and I believe she doesn't even have the mood for it, which is another reason why we put her down so low. Eris now, yes, if you group the sushi men up together, You could like possibly get like 3 or 4. Well, probably not 4, but probably like 2 or 3 within a full shot and do a lot of damage. But she also doesn't have a good mood in this, and she's only a blue, and 6 EX skill cost is a lot. So you would hate for her ability to get canceled for some odd reason or anything like that, and then you have to wait to fire it because you have to get the second charge for it. So just not quite her raid. Her raid is coming though. Eris's raid is coming, just not here yet. As Tsurugi, just not quite. It's not quite what you want. A lot of the blue units that are possible to use, like if you have them built up, you could put them in the you could put them in a slot, but it's like there's so many other explosive units that you could use, right? So as Tsurugi, like while you could use her as a tank, you could also just use a tank and do a lot better. That's why we have honestly one of the tanks on here, and then some of the other tanks you could use as well. That's why we have Haruka on here. I mean, there's other tanks that you could use. Mashiro, yes, she does have the buffing crit damage, but we already have Kotama for that, and it's not like Mashiro is going to be doing too much with her EX skill, because her EX skill really only it does is drop accuracy. I don't really see you doing mad lad damage with her, and I feel like that's the only reason why you would want to put her. So that is also why we have her here. Like the crit damage buff, someone could make an argument that if they were maybe doing a speed run and they were like on a lower difficulty, that they used her and she was able to buff up the highest unit and just pretty much like obliterate the boss. But in actual practicality, like it's just not it. So in preference, we have Saya down at the bottom with her 6 EX skill cost. It's just a little expensive. She also doesn't have a good mood for this. Yes, she does have the crit rate on her sub skill, but it's honestly the mood and 6 cost. You're not really going to be able to fire this off on the sushi men as much as you want. But we have her in preference. If you have one fully maxed out, you know, you got all the skills up pretty high, and you really want to use her, then yeah, you could probably, you know, make room for it. But as of right now, it's just with the mood, it's just not her ideal situation. Same thing as Kaiko. Kaiko with being able to do the fear. This is probably the one raid where you could actually use Kaiko because she has AoE on it. You can use her the first phase if you have her maxed out and everything like that. Like I love Kaiko, but I do have to come to terms with the fact that she's just not really useful in every situation, and her damage is really poor. The amount of attack that she can get into multipliers and everything like that just doesn't really help her, especially with her gear. They put her as like gear for honestly like a healer almost. So yeah, she's just not going to be pumping out that much damage. Even though yes, she does get extra damage against crowd control units and everything like that, but yeah, it's just not going to do it. And her mood is not that good in this area too. Hana, we all know Hana is really amazing, especially if you max out her EX skill. If you get her skills all the way leveled up, she can pretty much face tank a lot of stuff. But her mood is not great. She's a blue, and the reason why we put her down here is like you have to max her out for her to be even considered. And I wouldn't want to tell somebody to max out Hana for this. Now, if you were playing and you used Hana in our past few raids, right? Then, you know, obviously she's a little bit higher and leveled up, especially if you used her for Shirako. But for this, I'm not going to, you know, tell somebody like, yo, go ahead and max out that EX skill, you know, for this. Now for PvP and other situations, yeah, there are reasons to max out Hana, but we're just talking about the raid, and so we just wanted to keep it simple as that. Small Shun, I would love to put her higher, but this just isn't her raid situation. This also isn't her mood for the raid. Yes, like her EX skill, you could pop off and do the defense pin. But the fact that you have to do her ult twice for it to have the full damage is honestly a little scary, because Kaiten wants you to fire off quick EX skills and then really have just one damage healer. That's why we have pretty much Azza a little bit higher. But for Small Shun, it's just not her time yet, or it might not ever be, because the 5 EX skill cost for the first one to give you your sub skill passive to wait to get your stronger one it's just a lot. You have to basically spend 10 EX skill costs to get her full damage, and that's just a lot to go through. Hina, I know we put her a lot higher on the priest, but this is a AoE fight, and it putting Hina here is gonna make you want to use her EX skill, and it's a 7 cost, and it's not super crazy. Honestly, the regular Hina is just not it. Even though auto attack Hina is really, really good, but we're not going to put her over everybody else. And I believe her mood isn't ideal for this as well. But we have her down to preference. If you have her maxed out, if you max her out for priest, like, hey, you know, that's fine. You can use her. But again, she's just not going to pull out as much damage as a lot of people over this with that 7 EX skill cost. And the auto attacks are cool, but they're not just like out there crazy. Cycling Shirako, we have her down here because yes, while the attack debuff would be really nice and she has an AoE, I mean, she's just not pulling off a lot of damage, and you really don't want to use her to support like that when you could use other supports. So that's one of the reasons we have her down here. Like, we put her here, like, you can use her. The attack down can be useful, you know, to help keep your team alive, especially if you're struggling to survive. This is something that she could help you with. But we would hope that she would use other units to help your team survive. So that's why we put her at the top of preference. But, you know, someone can make an argument, especially if they have her skills all the way leveled up, that she could be really good. But for most average players, they don't. And so that's why we have her at the top of preference. So in somewhat priority, we have Maki. We have Maki here simply for shield break. Same thing as Nero. They're both here for shield break, even though they don't have, honestly, any benefit of being here, especially with their damage being cut. They're just here to shield break. Nero has the 2 EX skill cost, Maki has the 5, but they do multiple hits with it and they can help you break the shield. So if you don't have anybody else, like if you don't have a Shirako leveled up, or like Haruka, anybody like that, then you can use these units to help break that shield. Chisei we also have here because she has a 4 EX skill cost, and it actually could break the shield all on her own. So if you, again, don't have Shirako, Chisei would be a wonderful option to use. Again, she's not going to be used really for damage, but if you feel like your explosive damage is enough, then you can use her to help break that shield and to make the Kaiten robot a lot easier to fight. And then next we have Cherno on this list. So Cherno, thankfully we put her on here. I love her to death. With her skill cost recovery, she can really help you with Kaiten, especially if you're trying to break that shield, can help you cycle those abilities. And she has a crit damage reduction. Since we don't have a lot of defense on this boss, right? There's no reason to use like Ocarina, like Azza's debuff, everything like that. It's not really crazy. That's one of the reasons why we have Cherno on here, because she can lower that crit damage and help your units put off a lot of damage. So that is one reason why we have her. Izumi, we have her on this list because honestly, the stun, in theory, it could be all right. Her mood isn't ideal in this, but we were saying that like if you could get the stuns, you could protect your team a little bit. You could help protect them from like pretty much getting taunted and everything. So that's one of the reasons why we have her on here. She's not really going to do anything crazy outside of that. So she is literally only for the sushi men and just that. So, but that's why we have her up here in somewhat priority, because you can make an argument with her being fully leveled up and everything that she could do decent damage, but not many players have that. So, regular Mashiro, we have her up here because you could make an argument that if you have her fully leveled up, and you were to hit every single extra proc of her damage, you could probably do something pretty crazy on the second phase. But like that's just RNG within a gacha. So like, you know, if you really want to be a betting man, then you could run that, and you could probably do mad lad damage. But most people don't like having to roll the dice every time they do an EX skill. So that's why we have her on somewhat priority. Again, she's usable. Again, she could hit really great numbers, but you would have to be a mad lad and hit literally every single EX skill perfectly. Azza, we have her here because she does decent damage with her EX skill, and she does lower the defense of the boss. She has a small defense reduction, right? So it's just going to help out a little bit. It's not going to be as large as Akane's. So it is somewhat useful. But basically, if you just don't have anybody else, she's one of the like stronger blues that we put on this list. Hopefully you level her up for the past raids, right? Because we've had her pretty much on almost every single one so far. But if you have her, then you can use her, at least know that. Sarica, unfortunately, it's just not her ideal mood. Right now, that's why we have her at the top of somewhat priority. It's not her mood. She's not going to pull off as much damage as some of these other users that we have. So we put them a little bit higher. And then also, just some students, we just wanted to focus on them a little bit more because the mood is ideal. Now, Sarica is somebody that you could use. You could make an argument to put her at the bottom of high priority. I understand that, but just with the mood being in red, that's a huge like damage reduction, and that's why we really didn't want to put her any higher than this. But you know, I'm pretty sure someone can make that argument. So for the bottom of high priority, we have Haruka for a couple reasons. One, she's a really great tank. Two, she pulls off like 8 hits with her EX skill. So for Kaiten, she could tank, and she could also help break that shield. So if you're wanting somebody to help out with like Shirako, or if you just don't have Shirako and you have like Nero or somebody, or Chise, Haruka can also help you out with the amount of hits that she has. Or if you don't really have anybody to shield her, you can use Haruka and then use someone else's EX skill. So Haruka is a great option though to have. Haruka does all right damage with her EX skill, but it's mainly for the multi-hits that she has. And that's one of the reasons why we have her on this list up in high priority, because she can play multiple roles. We have Akari here because she could be a decent auto attacker for the second phase. If you wanted, you could use her for AoE as well in the Sushimin if you ever fully maxed out and everything like that. Of course, there's other units that you could use for AoE, but Akari could be a decent auto attacker. A lot of people have been talking pretty high of her, and she also has a neutral mood in this. Same thing with Aru. Like Aru, she has a neutral mood in this, but on the Sushimin, she could pull off some decent damage. So that's why we kind of put her up here. She's really good. She has high crit damage, especially if you pull off the EX skills. I know that we have Mutsuki pretty high because of that when you group the Sushimin and how much damage she can do. But Akari and Aru can also pull off some decent damage as well. So that's why we have them on high priority. S. Iori is actually in a beneficial mood in this. She's an S, and she's a really decent auto attacker for Kaiten. So that's why we have her up on high priority. You don't even have to use her EX skill, and she could do quite a bit of damage with that sub skill. So she's a good unit to have, especially if you're just needing to cycle other people's skills. Bring an auto attacker because that will help out, because then you can just focus on the units that you need to have. Bunny Nero, she will be out for this, so we have her because she has like a taunt on her ability. She's going to be pretty tanky. She does a little bit of damage, so she's not bad to have. If you're doing extreme, then she'd be a good unit to use, especially if you're wanting to tank. If you don't have like, if you need somebody other than your Tsubaki, if you need somebody other than your Haruka, Bunny Nero would be good to use. Or if you just want to use her, we're just letting you know, hey, she's a pretty decent tank to use for this. If you level her skill up to her EX skill up to 3, you get the taunt on it. So that could help you out. That could be useful. And then also, again, she has some decent survivability. So Shirako, we have her up here because of her EX skill. Even though she doesn't have a beneficial mood, she is one of the best shield breakers that you could have for Kaiten. The 2x skill cost, it hits multiple times. So I feel like someone can make an argument that she's one of the units always used for this raid. But there's other options that you can use. And I really don't like putting too many DPS on the always used here. But in high priority, top of high priority, she is definitely there. If this was a beneficial mood for her, and then she would be in highest priority because then she would get extra damage. But putting her at the top of high priority is good because of her mood. Now, at the bottom of highest priority, we have Koharu. So Koharu is going to be used mainly if you are kind of doing the higher priorities. I mean the higher levels, like extreme. But Koharu can actually pull off decent damage on these Sushimen, especially if you group them. If you watch my live stream, I was able to group them together. And then Koharu was able to pull off like at least over 1 million damage. And then also she can heal the tank and damage the Sushimen at the same time if you get the right positioning. So Koharu is pretty good. And she replaces a healer, giving you a chance to use a damage dealing special unit. So that's why we have her on the highest priority. And we couldn't use her as always used because like you really wouldn't use her on like the lower difficulties all the time. It's mainly going to be an extreme. So for like newer players, they really wouldn't use Koharu as much as they would need to on lower priorities. And a lot of veteran players can probably get away with just using like Serena or almost even no healer, depending on how much damage they have. Regular Azza, we have her here because honestly, she is a red queen. She always will be. She has the defense break on it, even though it's not used. Her EX skill just does so much damage. It's good. Like there's no reason not to level up Azza for any of the red raids. Get her leveled up, please. Try to max her out because she is gonna be used for every red raid. So you might as well get over it. And the same thing for this other red queen who has been talked about a lot. She is huge in the meta right now. Mutsuki is killing it right now. Her basic or normal skill, the mines, are pulling off just as much damage as Aru's EX skill. And then her own EX skill, if it can double hit, it's like Hibiki. It can do quite a bit of damage. I'm finding out, lately that I need to level her up because she is just awesome in this. She also has the beneficial mood. You need to level her up, guys. We were talking about on stream that all of a sudden she came out of nowhere and everyone was rushing to level her up. Because like, I don't know if it was JP or where people are just like, yo, Mutsuki is that, like, she is that one. She is bad. So just go ahead and level her up. Just do it. Because she will be beneficial to you for the priest raid, for Kaiten, anything that you use. Just go ahead and get it leveled up. And then for the highest priority, the top of it, we have Hina. She was amazing last time Kaiten came around, and she will be amazing again for this next one. She has beneficial mood in it. Level her up to make Kaiten easier. If you have her, level her up for this. It's gonna make your life so much easier. Like honestly, just do it. Like there's no reason not to. She's gonna be your like highest damage dealer on this raid against the Sushimen. She can hit all of them at the same time without having to reposition or do anything like that. And it only costs 3. So yeah, she's gonna be the unit that you literally would want to have to get high score numbers. And then we actually do have a tier above this. We have always used. These units here are always used in their own right. They are pretty much amazing. Shun is used here for people doing speed runs. So that's why we have her. She's good to level up on her normal skill because you're going to want to speed run with that skill to get higher placement, especially if you're not really wanting to mess with extreme as much, right? You can get as high of a score on hardcore as you can, get those fast scores and help you out. Serena, I mean, honestly, these 4, there's really not much to say other than like, you guys already know how I feel about Hibiki. She's one of the most versatile units. Kotama is a beast. She can't be replaced. Tsubaki, a beast, can't be replaced. And Serena is just one of the best healers in the game. And so she's easy to use. So just, yeah, use it. I mean, she can reposition Tsubaki in the Sushimen fight, right? And pretty much give you a better grouping. Tsubaki is really good in this because of her taunt, and she can help, get your DPS off in the Sushimen fight. Kotama, she busts your damage. Hibiki, if you're able to group everybody, then Hibiki's pulling off mad lad damage, especially if you have her maxed out. And most people are going to have her maxed out from other spots in the game, like PvP, story, everything like that. So just level her up for this. She'll be perfect for it. She will be amazing for it. Her EX skill does so much damage. So just go ahead and get it done. And at the top, the queen, the creme de la creme, the last but certainly not least, we have the god tier. Honestly, the unit in this tier is honestly the best unit in the game. People look down on her. People think that she's a joke. But honestly, you will see her like just do crazy things for you. I'm going to show you guys, if you watch me do the stream on Kaiten, I'm going to show you guys how crazy this girl really is. We have Jiri. Jiri is honestly just, man, I mean, the things she can do for you in your account is just amazing. Honestly, on the first, like, she buffs your people. She gives them HP, right? She also can group the sushi men together to help your Hibiki hit harder. And Jiri does damage herself. So, I mean, honestly, like, I mean, my account has just really gone up since I've just been working and leveling her. And honestly, I'm proud of it. But this pretty much concludes the tier list that we have for Kaiten Field Warfare. If you guys have anything to say about it, let me know in the comment section. But also, you could join the live streams. Click the bell notification that way you guys know when I live stream, because that's where everyone gets off their comments. That's where I ask for what people want, because the community built this. I did not build this. Community built this. I asked them where they wanted these characters. I asked them for their thoughts, and we discussed it. We all pretty much discussed it. We agreed on this. We said this was fine. So if you want to be a part of this tier list, then join those live streams. My next tier list is going to be this upcoming Monday. I can't remember the date because I don't have a calendar in front of me. But I will be doing these tier lists with the community. I'm not going to be doing these on my own. So if you have something to say, if you want to say something in the comment section, then be here in the live stream if you have an opinion about it. Because I take everyone's opinion into consideration. Like, I don't care if you're like, you know, subscribed or a member or anything like that. I listen to everybody. So if you want your voice to be heard, join the live stream. But if you guys like this video, go ahead and hit the like button. Comment down below what you guys think about this tier list. And subscribe to the channel if you want to be involved in more community activities like this. Or also hit the bell notification. That way you guys know when I do these live streams and when I live stream other games. But I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. You lucky gamers, have a good one. Lucky Lux out.